Welcome back to the REI Agent. We're here with Billy Dha Kidd.
Woo.
How are you?
Oh, good, man. I am pumped. We were just having some good conversation off air, so I'm excited to get
Yeah.
this rolling. Thank you for having me too.
Well, before we hop right into, I want to make sure people know that this is, you have investment properties, you're an investor. But before we get into that, let's continue the conversation about music, man. So you are a recording artist, right? I mean, so tell us a little bit about your music side.
Yeah, no, what's cool is that at this time in my life, like I just released my new album, actually in the summer, like 2-3 months ago. And it's called Generational Curses to Generational Wealth. That's the name of the album. And so it's all related. Like, it's not like I don't like music that, has like fake stuff and, and especially I have kids myself. So like, just being mindful of that, the youth and stuff, because they'll hear something, a gun here. And then all of a sudden, they think that's real life, and don't get me wrong, like guns are okay when you do it the responsible way. Right. So, but with that being said, that's where my music is nowadays, right? Like generational wealth. So if you, and actually, good thing you brought this up, because that's actually how I got started in business. Back in, I was 15, 16 when I started writing rhymes and stuff, and made it to the studio locally here. I paid my first hour of studio time. And that was my first investment. I go back to that moment because without kind of knowing, and, at that time I was like, oh, why do I got to pay? Right. Like we always look at things that way, not knowing that it's an investment and it always pays off. So you fast forward a couple years, I released my first album. I actually got signed to a label out of California. And I'm not going to say names, but it was a big distributor out there. And I'll say the distributor's name. It was Universal who distributed the music. So it was a big deal. But not the money, right? Like what you hear out there is true for the most part. But also, I'm also not going to like talk fully down on it, because also we knew what we were signing, like the figures were there, right? So, but they did make some promises that they didn't do. Like, at that time, like, oh, we're going to do a music video. We're going to fly you here. And, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm 18. Yeah, I'm ready to go. Right. So, basically I had to get a lawyer to get me out of there. And, that's when I started my first LLC, which was my record label, New Era Music. And that record label taught me accounting, business, marketing, sales. Those were the most important things that I took from that experience. I signed myself, right, quote unquote. So it taught me no middleman, just kind of do your own thing. And then, you fast forward. Then from there, people started paying attention, right? Like, oh, good businessman, this, that. I started my construction company. And then a year later, after my construction company, we started investing in real estate. And in between that, there was a lot of learning, right? Like to this day, like I'm listening to audiobooks. Like it just never stops. Like the education never stops. People think, oh, I'm going to go to college for 4 years. And, we could talk about how stupid school is, but I'll leave it at that for now.
So you had that entrepreneurial like itch. You had that in your blood. It sounds like early. When you so you got kind of screwed over, or it wasn't the best arrangement with this record label, and you realized it sounds like you could do it yourself, but so you then also turned it into a business. So you were helping other people record. You had other people on your label.
Yeah, and actually, it's crazy that at that time, actually, I because again, investing in yourself and the stuff that you need to do is super important. Like I went and bought myself a professional camera. I had no idea like what lighting was or, none of that. But here's the thing, guys, is those of you with excuses. Yes, I'm talking to you right now. There's YouTube University, and like I've learned how to edit videos, how to shoot videos, how to like essentially, everything. There's no excuse. And also, if you want to read a book, like, oh, I don't want to pay the, this or that to buy it or, whatever, then go, like libraries are free. Like there's no excuse, right? Like that's my hashtag is #no excuses. Like when you want to get something done, and you have when you have that like burning desire, we'll call it, like you're gonna find a way there, and there's no excuse. So hashtag no excuse to that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's like the total ownership thing. I think whenever you're, if you're around people, oftentimes, when something, I've been in social circles where like, something happens and people like jump in to like make excuses like for you or for the situation or whatever. And I know people are just trying to be nice, and like I think a lot of people want that themselves. They want to have like, the reason it's not their fault or whatever, without realizing that they're just hurting themselves. Like, if you don't take it on yourself, you're not going to change. Like,
exactly.
It's like this learned helplessness thing where, if you have no control over your life, why would you do anything about it?
Mm-hmm. And it's that victim mentality, that oh, poor me, right? And I've been there, done that, guys. Like I'm talking from experience too. Until the day that you decide, you know what, I'm gonna take accountability for everything that I do. Like the thing is, even if you've been in a car accident, like, and if you were driving, it's your fault whether the other person hit you or not, right? Like you could have left earlier or later. Like call me crazy, but there's been times, and actually if you scroll long enough, there was a time that I was heading, I want to say to Denver actually, to go do a show. This was years ago. And at that time, I was already reading and educating myself, and we actually had a flat tire in the highway. And I used to have a van with all my logos and stuff, just marketing, all my music stuff, all my albums on there and stuff. And I used to sell CDs, like physical CDs, shirts, that was kind of like my start. And if you scroll long enough, you'll find the post where I said, like, thank you, God, for this flat tire. And I mean, just imagine how much work that takes, right? Like for somebody to say that. To this day, I practice all that, and I'm human, guys. So yeah, is there days where there's that 1 second, right, when something happens or something comes up and you're like, well, you know what? What the thing is, like, imagine if, let's say in the real estate world, if somebody called you and said, hey, the faucet is changed. There was a leak, right? Like, what if they called you with a solution already, instead of, oh my God, there's a leak and it's getting all over the place. So
Right.
Just think of those two scenarios right there. What if they did call you and be like, hey, I changed the faucet, it's good to go, there was a leak? But no, people are like, ready to just go straight to the dilemma, right? Like the problems, the negativity. And just imagine how the world would be. But, we can do it by changing ourselves, right? By doing that ourselves and being that role model to other people, essentially.
What did you mean when you said thank you, God, for this flat tire?
Because you know what? At that time, what if I would have kept driving and there was an accident? And that tire saved my life, right? Like those are the things that we don't think about. We always think about what does happen, right? Like we have the experience, but how many times have we been in a scenario that we were gonna die if we would have done that next thing, right? Like the airplane leaves and you're mad, you're pissed off, I'm missing this meeting or whatever important, quote unquote, but your life is more important. What if like them changing that oil, or I don't know, whatever it was, that tire, whatever it was that they did is what saved you if they would have just taken off, right? Like we live in the greatest nation, guys, and we're so used to comfortable. I wrote the book, The Power of Being Uncomfortable, and I talk a lot about that because we're used to the microwave lifestyle, right? Like we just want to throw it in there and it's warm and let's roll out. But it doesn't work like that. If that was the case, I would have gotten rich, when I was 16, right? Like that's when I wanted to be rich, but it doesn't work like that. You actually have to put in the work and get uncomfortable, right? Like the power of being uncomfortable. So people
Billy,
are used to that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love that. I know exactly what you're saying. And I think it also is true for like our mental health. I think that, we evolved, whatever, we were used to having to, hunt where we had to exert ourselves physically. We were used to being outside in, varying degrees of temperatures. We weren't used to like 70 degrees, from our house to our garage to our car to our work.
Yeah. Now people cry about going to the market to grab the meat out of the freezer and it's too cold or something,
And I think without having, I think to be mentally well in today's society, we have to impose hardship on ourselves. We have to get uncomfortable. And that's physically, usually. I mean, I think that's one of the things that we miss a lot. And that's, doing hard things. So that's, exercise. That's, there's definitely data on like saunas and cold plunges and that kind of thing. That's part of it as well, that you don't have to, but I mean, I'm just saying like imposing some of these things upon yourself, I think have positive implications to your well-being, and there's reason for it. And then I would say the same with learning. So like if you get into states of flow, where you are so focused on what you're doing right in that moment, that's one of the biggest indicators of happiness. Like that's going to make you feel so good after you do that. So that could be learning a new skill. That could be being in the flow for music, right? I mean, like how often that's true for me. Like, when I can lose myself, it's like when it's in a song. And I think that we are in such a distracted society. Everything's fighting for our attention that we rarely get into those states. And I think, again, it almost feels uncomfortable to do something like sit down with a good book or whatever. But that's kind of what you're talking about, like imposing that uncomfortableness, imposing that hardship upon your physical, your mental, everything, to actually be happy. And
to jump on that, even when I still had my 9 to 5 and I was already, I quit my job, guys, when I got up to 10 doors. That's when I essentially left my 9 to 5 officially, right? Retire, quote unquote, right? But obviously, if you don't have goals, you start dying, and we could talk about that later. But even back then, I remember the thing is, I leave my house from doing all the uncomfortable stuff. The first couple hours of my morning, I leave my house winning the day, so I don't care what happens out there, right? That faucet I was talking about, that toilet, whatever, in real estate or even the construction company or any problems, because most people are problem oriented. Again, they're not solution oriented, sadly. But all that doesn't matter. So even at my 9 to 5, I would get there and people were ready with drama, right? Like, it's like, guys, come on. I'm barely, or I'm drinking my coffee and not knowing that, like, I had already won the day. So like, I didn't give a crap, right? Like what they would tell me, because I had already won. Like I had already done the cold shower, right? Like I did my mile or 2 or 3 at the time. I had already read, I had already journaled, I already written my goals. Like those things are essential, guys, because we are human. So we love comfort. Don't get me wrong. We love comfort, but we have to snap out of it and know, hey, you know what? Like, I am going to go run at 6 a.m., right? Go run me that mile. Even though there's times in the winter when, I'm running outside. I fell on my ass a couple times. I'm not going to lie. Like from even it was frozen. And I'm like, okay, like, I guess I have to work inside or work out inside, but I think those are the things that society sadly is lacking on. And we have to get back to those things because, guys, like that's what it takes if you want to grow your business, if you want to become an agent, a real estate agent. Like, how many no's you're going to have to go through, how many people you're going to deal with that are annoying, guys. Like there's people out there that are negative. Like, you could be like, hey, I found your house, right? But they're going to go and point, hey, there's a little paint drip right here. It has all the other 100 things I want, right? Like it checks off 100 things, but there's this little paint drip right here that, nope, this is not the house that I'm going to make an offer on. And you as an agent, like you have to be ready for those things because they do happen. We're dealing with people here. And again, I guess what I'm saying is like the $1 Million Hustle. That's my podcast. The reason why I started that podcast was because of that mindset of it. It's not the money. And it's funny, right? Like I just do that to get your attention. But $1 million hustle is what is the person you need to become to obtain that. And in order for you to become that person, you have to do those hard things. Like there's no skipping around. Like you're going to get told no. You're going to people are going to tell you suck. You're going to question yourself a lot of times. I've tried my best not to listen to people, but especially your circle there, and I'm talking more like, early 20s. Like I had so many people around my circle like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to do videos. I'm going to have you be my manager, right? Like putting people in position thinking we're all going to get there together. It doesn't work like that, sadly. You got to want it, right? Like that saying says, you got to want it as much as you want to breathe. And if you don't want it as much as you want to breathe, it's not going to come because people are going to throw rocks at you. And you get to a level where then all of a sudden they start believing, and that quote, right? Like, oh, now they're asking if you're hiring, and those are facts, guys. I can tell you that by experience.
Yeah, that's well said. Well, let's get into your real estate as well. I mean, we've spent a good amount of time like getting through music and mindset, but yeah, you had mentioned that you started a construction company. Then you mentioned that you had 10 doors before you quit your 9 to 5. Help me break that down a little bit further, but also you, like, I understand you now are like 80 plus doors. Is that right?
Yeah. So actually, I'm closing on 10 this month. That'll put us at 80, a 6-plex and a 4-plex. But yeah, I started with single families. That was my start. And then I want to say like the fourth one was like a little duplex, and then I started mixing duplexes and houses. And the key to that is like do what the market tells you, right? So like listen to the market. And what I mean by that is at that time, single families were working perfectly. Nowadays, you fast forward, the market's a little different. So like I just flip those single families most of the time. Honestly, I can't even tell you it's probably been a couple of years, at least 3 years that I have kept like a single family. But, again, going back to what I was saying, like, don't rush it, guys. Like I was very patient waiting for those 10 doors. That was my goal. I worked at a call center. I was a manager. And what's sad is that at that time I was never, again, I was positive. I've always tried to be as positive as I can. So I was never in my like boss's office. I need a raise, right? Like if anything, I was asking him for days off. Like, hey, can I work 4 days a week so I can go do my thing on the weekends? In the meantime, other supervisors were in there. I need a raise. So later I found out I was getting almost basically minimum wage compared to other supervisors because of it. But I was already set, and it's okay. I was setting myself up.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to quit, right? Like, oh, I got 2 houses, 3 houses, or whatever. Just don't forget, guys, that's part of the plan. Like, don't be ashamed. And to this day, I say it. Like, I tell my wife, I'm like, shit, if I have to go work at Burger King, I'll go work at Burger King. Like, there's no shame, in work. But I was patient. That's key number one. So I knew, okay, this is, and it didn't take much, but I was like, this is how many houses I got to have to replace at least, not even like my 9 to 5, but also just my bills, right? Like, if I'm gonna pay my mortgage and my food, and then whatever other expenses, bills, and my kids and stuff, right? I budgeted that, right? So what's crazy is that that took me 5 years. Yeah, that took me 5 years to obtain 10 doors. Not too shabby, right? Like looking back, but what's crazy, guys, is that I quit, and that first year I got another 10. So like I doubled my portfolio in the first year. But here's the key though, and go ahead, stop me whenever through my story.
No, I'm just saying that's often how it works. I mean, you have access to more capital, you have more experience, you have more networks, I mean, all that kind of stuff, but keep going. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, no, true. So true. And because what's crazy that you bring that up, the first 10, there was nothing like crazy. Like it was just like, let me save up this 20% down.
Yep.
I'm going to put it down and move on to the next. And then all of a sudden it just kind of snowballs, guys. Like the thing is, like, bad things snowball, right? Like if you're like messing up your diet or, whatever else, like it's going to snowball into that. Right. And the same thing happens on the other side too. That's the beauty of it, is that, if I keep making music, it's only going to snowball. Like I always tell people, like, my podcast or my music and stuff, it's like guys, like even if I get one listener every month, like a new listener every month, like it still grows. Like people are not gonna not know about you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, I've heard of the $1 Million Hustle podcast, or right, like the REI. Like I've heard of them, you know, but now they can't unhear you. Like, no, it's only gonna grow. It's only gonna snowball, right? So, but basically, you know, after those 10 doors, then yeah, I started going to more networking groups, putting myself out. The thing, well, and I was gonna say putting myself out there. I've always put myself out there. That's another key I want to leave you guys with is don't be scared of social media, guys. Like that's why I love what you're doing with this podcast. Like, guys, like the crazy thing is that I'm barely scratching the surface, and I know marketing. That's one of my favorite things, sales and marketing. But putting myself out there has like paid off more than any dollar I've spent on like marketing. You know, it like I'm gonna give you an example. Like for the podcast, for example, I did an interview. I do some hard money lending. We talked about it. I threw it out there, and then all of a sudden we did a deal together. You know, after that podcast, where we both made money. So like putting it out there, guys. Like it's super important. It's super easy nowadays. You know what? You don't need all this stuff. Like you graduate into this stuff, and it's beautiful, right? Like I love your background. Like, but it's as simple as this, guys. And if you don't have a flip phone, you have one of these, then you're set. Like you can do it. So, but putting myself out there and go ahead.
So they have some fancy flip phones out there. I was gonna hop in real quick and add to what you're saying a little bit. I think like getting started. Like I had talked to a guest recently that was talking about how people try to do advanced chess when they're like they like listen to every podcast or every book and they don't do anything because they're like trying to like do this super complex advanced chess like first deal, and like there's no shame in doing 20% down. There's no shame in doing the house hack, like where you're saving up 3.5% or 5%, and then you're buying that first house, you're living in it, you're renting out the rooms, to start building up that portfolio. But like to your point, and keeping the W-2, like we got to go through a hustle phase. Like I did it. I had a W-2. I worked in a school system. I worked at a high school. Got out at 3 p.m. I had summers off. And so I was able to sell real estate fairly well at that time because of that schedule. And, you know, I could keep a W-2 to be able to qualify for mortgages, right? So that's something that you got to consider as well. If you're wanting to be an agent, you're wanting to get started. Yes, there is advantages to burning the fleets, jumping in, but you don't have to. And if you have the ability to be, you know, 100% focused on where you're wanting to go, like being a full-time investor, being a full-time real estate agent, like there's advantages of having that W-2 when you're getting started for sure.
Yeah. But so true.
It snowballs. Like if it, like, you know, after 5 years, that first property's gone up in value. You've got equity in that property. There's a lot that can happen. And then also to go back to another one of your points, you know, you are like, you can look at every habit, everything you do is feeding a habit. So are you strengthening the good ones of, you know, buying, you know, more property, whatever, because that's going to get better. You're going to get better at it. Or are you, are you strengthening the,
and I want to throw this in there, you know, because here's the thing, guys. Like nowadays, and, you know, sadly, I know more people that came and left the real estate game because they tried getting too creative, right? Like, trust me, I get creative with deals nowadays, but I'm still in my mentality. The thing is, like, a lot of people talk about there's no cash flow out there. I'm here to tell you, then call me the king of cash flow, because every deal that I go and do nowadays, guys, I go in there like, no, I need my cash flow. Here's the thing. It's very boring. Like, I'm going to say that right now. Flipping a house is fun, right? Like you get to pick this, do that. I feel like it gets more attention, right? Like on social media, like people see the before, after, or whatever. And then the rentals are just like, whatever. Like, but those little $300, $500, yeah, exactly. But those little $300 to $500 add up, guys. And I think people forget that. With that being said, maybe you do need to put down the deposit, right? Like the down payment for it to cash flow. Stop trying to get so creative and like, oh, well, YouTube, there's this guru on YouTube that told me this. It's like, yeah, but they probably did it for 30 years if they're telling the truth, 20 years, or they're lying. Like, they don't even have anything. So just be mindful of that. Just be boring.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, if you want to talk boring, like, let's talk about stocks. Like, so I think a really good example of what, like, what we're talking about here is, it is an investment. Yeah, there are ways of doing some advanced chess that can work out, but that's not going to be your base hit. That's not going to be your day to day. I mean, if you buy $500,000 worth of stocks, or you buy a $500,000 fiveplex or whatever, look at those two options here. One of them, you can put 20% down and you can put $100,000 in, right? The other one, you have to put $500,000 in. Now, let's say both of them go up by 20% over the next couple of years. You've made 100% return on your investment, or the other one, you've made 20%. And that doesn't factor in the debt payoff that's happening from your tenants, doesn't factor in the depreciation, especially if you're a real estate professional. You are looking at accelerated depreciation that you can write off your earned income from sales. So it's boring, but it builds. It's a snowball, like you said. And and you find yourself with 10 doors and a lot of equity. You can start doing some more advanced things, and you're in the space that you understand it better. That when that opportunity comes along, you can actually execute on it. Yeah, no, so true. And here's the thing, like when I was saying the whole flipping and stuff, like, it's okay to flip. Like, I still flip houses, right? Like, I'm not like building a business out of it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not like, okay, here's the systems. Like, no, I don't get too crazy. I just keep a couple doors. Like, right now I have 3, one that's in the market, and then one that's like probably I'll say 70% done. And then I just bought one 2 days ago that I haven't even been to it yet. But because I'm not in a rush, I'm not like, oh, I need to hurry up and get this flip, in order for me to survive. Like, no. But I will say, if I were to look back, and I love what you said earlier, like, I would house hack, have that W-2, because you're going to need it for banks. As a matter of fact, before I quit my job, I went and asked my bank for permission. Like, it's crazy to hear it that way, but and I put it that way, but it was more like, hey, if I quit my job, am I still good? And, hearing that, yes, like that's the thing, guys, is like, don't forget the little things like that, right? Like, it took me 20 minutes, 10-minute phone call, right? Or whatever it was, that for me to ask my banker, like, hey, here's where I'm at. I think I'm going to jump. And sure enough, like, I asked for that permission, right? And it worked out. But here's the thing, flipping and all that money and all that, like, yes, flipping will get you rich, but if you want to get wealthy, keep and hold these places for a long time. Yes. That's essentially my motto. That's what I live by. Again, I'm not over here trying to be like a TV show flipping houses or anything like that. My thing is that boring, okay, here I go. I'm going to buy another door, right? Like I said, I'm buying a 6-plex right now and a 4-plex. Like, again, look at that too. I'm not over here like, oh, I'm buying 40 doors. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think about that? And maybe in the future, and we could talk a little more about that, but I'm not pushing anything here. That's the key. I'm not over here like, okay, I'm going to buy 100 doors this year, and if I don't, then I'm a piece of shit. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, yes, have your goals, but as long as you're doing, that's the thing, and that's the power of being uncomfortable. As long as you're getting uncomfortable, taking action in the things that will lead you there, that's all you can control. You cannot control the market. You cannot control, whether you are going to find those deals or not. It's funny, this year, I bought, let's see, 22 doors with this, nothing crazy, nothing massive, I guess. But if you look back, to me, that's a victory, because in 1 year, I bought as many as it took me 6-7 years, 6 years or whatever. Like, and I'm just saying that in real time right now. And it's crazy to hear that. I'm buying more doors than, right? So it's gonna come, guys. Like, again, I want a Lambo. I'm gonna buy a green Lambo, and I'm gonna say that here live. Like, I tell everybody, I'm buying a green Lambo. I can go buy it, if I wanted to, but it's gotta make sense.
know Yeah, like exactly. But I know that the more patient I am, and I've been really patient, just so you guys know, the better this Lambo's gonna be when it comes. The better the deal.
Yep.
Like it's gonna come from somebody that I wasn't even thinking about. Like, hey, bro, I know I heard you saying, on his podcast that you wanted a green Lambo. Here's one, and actually, they just want to get rid of it because they're moving out of the States. I don't know. I'm just making something up. Like, that's how beautiful things work out when you're patient. Don't push it and be like, oh, I didn't get these many doors. Like, no, like chill the hell out. Like, because matter of fact, when you do it that way, and then on top of that, and we could even add, like when you're doing that as spite, right? Like maybe, or on some other feelings, negative feelings. Well, so-and-so got this many doors. And it's like, no, ride your own boat, right? Like stay in your own lane.
There's always going to be somebody
and it's going to work
doing
out.
More. There's always going to be somebody doing more. And that's the people you want to be around. Like you want to don't look at it as a threat. Look at it as hey, how can I learn from these people? Like where I want to get where they're at. And, to your point, like you mentioned earlier, you said that they were like kind of trying to keep cover your expenses with your cash flow. I think that's such a beautiful way of looking at things, like being like 100%. And so you don't have that lifestyle creep, which is easy to do. Like we're talking about now, like, so like, for example, if I were to go back or if I were to talk to an 18-year-old that wants to get into real estate, wants to be a sales agent, they want to be an investor, be like, look, go work something in the field, see if you can get a job related to real estate, property management, something like that, where you're getting like a W-2, construction, that could be another good thing too. And then, get your license, start selling when you can, trying to have it conducive, try to make it both work, and save up for your first property, but use that W-2 to get your, house hack first property. And then have roommates in there, pay for your mortgage, while you save up for another one. And then only when you're starting to build up some cash flow, like is when you start looking at increasing your lifestyle at all. Right. So you're covering your bills with, your house hacking. Then you can start slowly growing. And eventually, if you do want to be the person with the Lambo, like you, like that's possible. But, if you were to, make your first $100,000 on a flip and turn around and spend
then you go buy a Lambo.
Like, you'd be setting yourself back for being poor.
Exactly.
For a long time.
And probably worse. Yeah.
You'd probably lose that thing. You'd go wreck it and then you'd have nothing.
No, that's so true though, bro. I love that you brought that up. That's so true. People do some dumb stuff with money, there's a quote, and actually I'm going to pull it up because this quote, and I know I could freestyle it, but I want to read it to you guys because it hit me hard. And it's true because I can go back and think I can go back to this quote and be like, you know what? Yeah, that's why I am where I am. And essentially it's all the stuff we just talked about. It says the most important thing about building wealth is controlling your emotions. The most important thing about building wealth is controlling your emotions. Think about, I know a lot of investors, quote unquote, that are no longer in the game, that their emotions, they got, actually maybe I've had my bits and pieces as a contractor, right? Like owning my construction company, their emotions got the best of them and went off on the wrong guy. Like, hey, I'm sorry you bought the deal wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just your contractor here, or whatever. But their emotions got in the way. And if you go through life letting that be the reason why, like, you're not going to get far. There's times where I use the 24-hour rule, right? Like if somebody says some dumb stuff, I'm not going to text back. You don't have to text back. That's the thing. Wait those 24 hours. Let those emotions go. And then that way you can come back in a more professional manner. But there's people that like call and, they let their emotions control everything. So anyways, that quote hit me hard because, I started thinking of my own stuff and what can you think? I mean, does that hit you? Because like I said, it hit me.
Yeah. Well, and to relate it to the like wanting to be flashy or whatever before you should. I talked to when I was in the high school, I was trying to do all this like kind of self-development stuff with the kids I was working with. I was a behavior specialist. So I was working with the kids that were getting kicked out of class and have behavior issues. I would talk to them about like, what does a millionaire look like? And like what are they? And they, of course they had the fancy cars, they had all the stuff. And that's like kind of like an emotional thing, like where they're feeling they need to represent or present more than they are. Right. And I'm like, your average millionaire is going to be rocking the old Honda, like Civic.
Seriously. Yeah.
But anyway, like then I just wanted to add one more thing to that, like progression of like the building up the cash flow and stuff until stuff makes sense. Well, where I've like, I've talked to people that are in, have hundreds of doors, that have, apartment building complexes, and they're in a place where, the debt payoff alone is hundreds of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. So you talk about like when it's easier to be able to spend $100,000 on a car when just the debt payoff is $100,000 a month. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah.
So it's not about like, I don't know if I'll ever own a Lamborghini, but I don't judge you for wanting one, because I know that you're doing it like in a way that you're waiting for it to make sense. And
and it's a trophy,
Yeah,
exactly. It's a trophy, here's the thing is that and it's crazy that the older you get, right, like the less all those things mean to you, right? Like it's just crazy. But my goal has always been to show people that you can do it, to be that inspiration, that motivator. And it's funny, as you were saying that, I wish I would have known somebody like you in high school. And matter of fact, I did. Like I had I'm still friends to him to this day. Like we still hang, like it's crazy. We hang out, and I always remind him, like, dude, like even though you were only 3-4 years, he was like a student teacher at that time, from the university here. But seeing somebody that looks like me, right, like that I saw myself in going to college at that time and actually getting like that inspired me. So I will never forget that, because for example, I have a mastermind group, right? Like the Get Uncomfortable mastermind group. I just built my dream house about a year ago, is how long we lived here. I host meetings here at my house for them to see what's possible, because nobody did that for me, right? Like when I was there. So I think it's super important to model and show people. And again, I'm doing it because I knew that if I would have had that, it would have happened quicker for me. I would have been ready, right? Like if I would have known at 21 that I could, and not, I mean, it wasn't too shabby. I bought my first house at 20 or 21. And I still have it as a rental, by the way. But that house, like I know that if I would have had somebody like you, right, like showing me at that time, I would have done a duplex, right, like a house hack, right, like there's like different. And then I guarantee you that 10 years is what I would be 10 years ahead at this point. But the point is, it's super important, guys, to model those people. Like if you're an agent, show people, like show them what's possible, right? Like any tips, tricks, like, because we're also, let's not forget our kids. Like that's the next generation. And a lot of people get selfish with like information, or and it's like, no, just the thing is, like, the more you help others, the more it comes back to you anyways. And I've seen that over and over. I just had somebody sign up for one-on-one, and I just keep thinking, like, I might be more excited than he is, right? Like, quote unquote, because I know the person he's gonna be, after we go through these different things that I do with my coaching. So, and I'll be honest, even like my mastermind, for example, yes, there's a fee, because I go back to even like back then, I never gave a free CD out, like, period. Because guess what? If I would have handed free CDs, people will grab it and throw it out the window. There's no value. You have to create value. And me having this fee for these people, they freaking show up to the meetings because they're paying a fee, right? So therefore, they're taking action in the stuff that we're talking about in the mastermind. So it's just important to model what you want the youth to see. And so to me, that's what that means. When I say I want that Lambo, don't get me wrong. Yes, it's been a dream of mine, but I guarantee you that somebody's going to see that and be like, dang, like, I hear that now, you know. There's buddies that will call me and be like, dude, like I'm always telling, you know, my son about you, or, you know, hey, listen to this from him, or this message. Like, that's love right there. That at the end of the day, and you're telling me that for doing that, I actually get paid too. Like that, guys, like that's a dream. You know, you always hear, I don't know if you ever seen those memes, like victim mentality people. And yes, I'm very straightforward. I'm sorry, but you know, it's like a van, and they're like, oh, I'd rather go to my kid's soccer game in this broke down van than, you know, this or that. And it's like, how about you do both? Like, how about you have the Lambo that you take your kid to the soccer game? Like, what are we missing here, right? And of course, all these people, yes, you know, so true, this and that, but that's the easy thing to do, guys. It's the easy thing is to have excuses. And remember what I said earlier, no excuses. Like, we have to take our civilization to this next level. We cannot go soft, and you know, we have to get uncomfortable. And the thing is, I wouldn't be talking about a Lambo if I wasn't getting uncomfortable. Now, don't get me wrong. You graduate earlier. You mentioned the word hustle. Like, it's funny. That's the $1 million hustle. And I have this thing with that too. Like, I don't have to hustle, thank God. Like, I always tell people, like, I don't have to write books. Like, like literally, guys, I can just go off the grid, and like my family and I are set for life. Like, thank God. But that would, for one, I said earlier, like when you don't have goals, you start dying. You know, we're human beings, so we're constantly progress makes us happy, is what I'm trying to say. Progress makes us happy. So when I released that album, I'm not doing, oh, I'm going to make all this money. No, it's progress. It was another thing that I did that I'm proud of, right, for myself. Yes, you have to be selfish too, because if not, you're going to be pouring from an empty cup, and it just doesn't work. If you're not selfish, then you're going to be a bad husband, a bad dad. And to me, I'd rather be selfish so I can load up and then go out and be a good dad, be a good coach, be a good friend, right? Like all these different things. But progress brings happiness. And so honestly, like I said, I can stop right now and be good. But, you know, I've been to the beach, and after 5 days, you know, on a vacation, I'm ready to come back home and like get back on it. Like they're, you know, I'm sure it's funny when you ask the kids, I'm sure they probably brought that up, right? Like, oh, be at the beach every day, right? Or, you know, that's what a millionaire will do. And it's like, if they only knew, like, no, you know, you have to create your life to where the beach doesn't mean anything. I love the beach. I'm in Nebraska, which that's the only thing that sucks about Nebraska. But you have to get to a point, guys, where like I look at my back. You know, we live in an acreage, so like looking out to the back, I feel like I'm on an Airbnb every day, like I'm on vacation. Matter of fact, it's funny, and again, it's been a year, but the last year, like whenever we've gone out of town or on vacation, I'm like, oh, you know, I miss my, like, you have to build your house. You have to build your life that way, where you're on vacation every day. And when you build it that way, think about how many people go on vacation and all they do is post on the damn social media. They don't even enjoy the moments. Yeah. It's funny. When I go out of town, I don't even post. Do I take video pictures? Yes, I do. Yeah. Right? Because we still making memories. But I come back, and I probably have a good 5 trips right now the last year that I forgot to post after I came back, because my thing is like content creation, right? Like, oh, I'm going to come back and post it. When I come back, I forget, guys, because I was so caught up in the moment. Yeah. Right now, my phone's on do not disturb. Like, live the moment. Like we forget. Like, today is all we have, right? Like yesterday's history. Like, today is all we have. Live the moment. When I'm on the phone, whether it's a friend from high school or when I'm talking to somebody who's maybe just a cleaner, right? Like, or just a janitor somewhere that I'm at, like, I don't answer my phone. It could be $1 million deal that's calling me, but I'm not going to answer that phone because I live in the moment. And the people that know me, they know, like, they'll call me. I just talked to a buddy the other day that he called me once I didn't answer. I texted him, hey, call you back, right? Then he called me when I was on my way out of town talking about that. And I said, hey, sorry, we're driving. I was in the moment with my friends at that time, listening to music, talking about the music. He called me yesterday. And then I was like, hey, I'm in the studio. He's like, oh, well, let me call you back. I was like, no, dude. I was like, actually, you called me right as I'm shutting my computer off. I'm getting ready to head out. What's up? We started talking. I got 3 calls during that conversation, business-wise, maybe something with my construction. I did not answer those phone calls. Like, I think people forget that we have to live in the now. Like, present is all we have. Like, guys, it's a present. Like, how more obvious do you want it? So build your life of your dreams, guys, is all I'm saying. And you could do that. Like, I'm originally from El Salvador. Like, I was born in El Salvador, single family, single mom, right? Like, I never met my dad, had no father figures. If anything, all the peers at that time, I still know friends, or not even friends, but just people that I knew that are still locked up doing time. Or like, if I built the life that I did, anybody can. And that's the biggest like thing that I can do for everybody, is to show like I'm living proof. Like, yo, I didn't have a dad, or I all these stats, right? Like, I was supposed to be part of the stats. Well, I'm here to tell you that I wasn't. I live in the present. I built my life like every day is a holiday, and I am so grateful for that. I'm full of gratitude. You can do it too. Follow your dreams, no matter what it is. They're gonna throw rocks at you. They're gonna tell you no, it's not possible, until you see you doing it, baby. So
I love it. I gotta connect you with one of my best friends from El Salvador. He and him are kindred spirits.
Have you had pupusas?
Oh yeah, of course.
There you go.
Hey man, I feel like we could talk for hours, but we should probably. I know your time is valuable, so let's ask you about your golden nugget. What do you got for our listeners?
I'm gonna share a quote that I actually I have on my phone, and it's crazy. I remember this quote even like before, working at my 9 to 5, or whenever I would do any music gigs, at that time when I was just kind of more on the hustle mode, right? And that's the thing, guys, is you have to hustle, but you can build it to where you tell your day what to do, right? Like, not your day tell you what you need to get done. Yeah. And it says reality exists only where the mind creates a focus. And I want you guys to really think about that. Like, if that's you focus on getting 10 doors like I did, I got 10 doors. It's weird, but I was focused, right? Like, so reality exists only where the mind creates a focus. I just want to share that with you guys, and I hope that helps.
Man, we could talk about that for like 20 minutes. It's everything we've talked about, like the negative mindset, the victimization. Like, you will see like all the negative stuff when you have a negative mind, negative attitude, and it will just reinforce those beliefs. And the inverse is true as well. So beautiful. Now I see a bunch of books behind you. What do you got? A fundamental book you think everybody should read, or one that you're currently just really enjoying?
Ooh, man, there's so many, but I always stick to my guns, right? And I go with Think and Grow Rich every time.
Okay.
The title says it all, but also I'm going to incorporate in there my own book, The Power of Being Uncomfortable. Like, read that book, Think and Grow Rich, and then read The Power of Being Uncomfortable, and then read 10X by Grant Cardone. I feel like if you read those 3 books like back to back like that, your life will change. And what I mean by that is Think and Grow Rich teaches you, right? Like the title says, right? And it also does talk about action. Like, here's the thing. It's not like, hey, you're going to think and you're going to have this green Lambo parked outside, tomorrow, right? Like, as soon as you think that. No, it doesn't work like that. The Power of Being Uncomfortable, when I wrote that book, it was more like, okay, there's a lot of great info out there, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't get uncomfortable. And what that means is if you don't take action. So the thing is, like, again, there's all these excuses that we could have, but I have a chapter on there that getting uncomfortable means even if, like, let's say you have a job currently, go in a different route. that's uncomfortable. You're so used to driving in the same route to work. You see the same shit. You're the same birds, whatever, that you're literally, again, programmed. You're just, no, get uncomfortable, go around other places, right? Like, I remember I used to practice that for my job. I would go in different routes and you see different things and now you're getting uncomfortable. It didn't take much, but you're taking action. And I know it seems crazy, ludicrous, right? Like, what? So if essentially the answer is yes. If you start doing those little things like that, your life will start changing.
Yeah.
So that's what the power of being uncomfortable is like, and then of course, right, it gets into other areas, right? Like where you take more massive action than just those little things. But
Sure.
every industry that I've been on is because I got uncomfortable. I'm a hard money lender. So like the first loan that I did was uncomfortable. But at that time, I was already writing my book, and I released it already, I believe. So I already knew, like, okay, well, yeah, I'm a human. I feel things. I'm scared, right? But right away, I'm like, nope, let's snap out of it. What you fear is what you need to do next. And that's a chapter in my book, right? Like, what you fear is what you need to do next. So as soon as I did that first loan, I got it out of the way. And then after you do a few more loans, you're all of a sudden an expert. Like, it's crazy. Right. The first time I got in the studio was uncomfortable. After I wrote a few more songs and got in the studio a few more times, all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I know what I'm doing in this damn studio, right? Like, same with video, same with real estate, right? Like, the first deal was super scary. And then all of a sudden, like, my wife last night, she's like, I announced that in the group yesterday. Oh yeah, guys, my win for the week is I just bought this flip, right? I shared with you guys earlier a couple of days ago. I haven't even gone to it yet. But my wife last night after, she's like, hey, I didn't know you ended up buying that house. Like, that's how normal it is nowadays, right? Like, and she knows, so, it's, but she said it like, oh my God, I didn't even know you ended up buying it or whatever. That's how the power of uncomfortable works, though, is it gets so normal that you become an expert. So do that. And then you go to the 10X and you 10X everything that you're doing. And man, I just gave you a formula right there. So go read those 3 books.
I love it. Those are great. Cool. And then if people want to know more about you, want to listen to your podcast, want to find you, you got your website here. If you're not watching it, Billy Dha Kidd, Billy, BILLYDHA, Kidd is KIDD.com. Where else can they find you?
Yeah, that if you go to my website, it'll take you to all my socials, all my music. I have Spotify, and the cool thing is, if you're not there for music, you're gonna be there for the $1 Million Hustle. It's out everywhere on Apple, on Spotify. Like, if you just put Billy Dha Kidd, something will pop up with my name on it. Thank God. I'm grateful for that. And Instagram, I would say, is probably the one that I work the most, that I'm on. So just message me any questions, guys. Like, don't be afraid. I'm an open book. So like, maybe you're going through a deal or something, like, shoot me a voice text or a text in general, and let's chop it up, man. We need more of that. We always need a community. So hit me up.
Love it. Billy, hey, thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to the REI Agent.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe to catch new shows every week.
Visit reiagent.com for more content.
Until next time, keep building the life you want.
All content in the show is not investment advice or mental health therapy. It is intended for entertainment purposes only.